Hi, Jim Van Zant, one of the pastors here at Carlisle United Methodist Church with Sermon in 3 Minutes. For the last couple of weeks, we've been trying to answer the question, what does God expect? And we've been using that as an opportunity to look at the Ten Commandments. We think that's probably the basic place to start with the expectations that God has of us. And so we've been looking at them through the eyes of a relationship, which we think is the appropriate way to look at them. Because if you look at the Ten Commandments, the first 4 have to deal with our relationship with God, and the remaining 6 have to deal with our relationship with each other. And so last week we began a look at the first 3 of the remaining 6 of the Ten Commandments that have to do with our relationships with each other. It's all about a love relationship, but not love defined as our modern culture defines love. No, we lift up the emotional kind of love. This is a deeper level love talked about in the Scripture, a love that directs our behaviors with each other, that tells us how to live with each other. It's interesting to note that in the 6 commandments about living with each other, the first place God chooses to start is with mom and dad. He says, honor your father and your mother. What is it mom and dad represent? A family to us. That's our first experience of a family. God says we're part of his family. Jesus is our brother. We're brother and sisters to each other. And so we learn about how to live with each other in the context of a family. It's a problematic commandment for a lot of us because some of us maybe grew up with parents that weren't very respectable, that didn't honor us. And so how can we honor them? It's a very difficult thing and one that requires daily prayer in order to ask God for the ability to honor our parents when we feel that we can't. The next commandment said, don't murder anyone. We learned it as thou shalt not kill, which is a correct interpretation of the Hebrew word used there and interpreted as kill. But murder is actually a more correct word, a way to translate that. Now, some people might think there's no difference between the two, but there is a difference between the two. You know, the first homicide in the Bible was Cain killing Abel. He did that out of anger and jealousy. Basically, God says, don't do that. Don't let your emotions have such control over you that you'll murder someone. Because life is sacred. Life is something that God creates, and we're not the ones who can take that then away. The next commandment had to do with adultery. Obviously, that has to do with respecting our marriage relationship or significant relationships in our lives, to keep them trustworthy, honest, and true. It is all about trust at the deepest levels. So it's easy to understand why God would choose these commandments and give to us as sort of the basic place to start when we learn to live with each other. This has been Sermon in 3 Minutes. Thank you for tuning in.